Hello guys, today we are going to discuss actions. What are actions? Actions are core of UFT. Everything you do in UFT will revolve around action. So this is the basic core where you're going to write all the code. Obviously we are going to write code in function also, but action are logical units of UFT. What are different types of action? There are usable action, there's a non-usable action, there's a external action. As the name specify, reusable action which you can use again and again, and non-usable you can only use in the project itself. External actions are the action which you are going to call from the external project or an external location. External actions are usually reusable. So if you are going to make an action reusable, then you can also call that action in other script. So let's just hop into the project. So in this lecture 13, there are two actions. One is the driver actions and second is the login action. So first we are going to see what are the properties that is associated with this action. So this is the core window where all the code is written. This driver has a matching data table, see, which is a local data table. For login action is a local data table. If you want to set the properties like name and other things, you can set it from here. Here you can see the location of action, whether you want to make this action as a reusable or not. If you want to rename an action, you just right click and click on rename and just rename this action. Now if you want to see the flow, you can go under the project and see first the driver will run, then login action will run. If you want to change the flow, just drag it above driver. See, now login action will run first, then the driver. So let's just see how it works. So first driver will run, then login action. So let's just run this project and say run. See, in the output, first we are inside driver, then we are inside login. Now what we can do, we can go to lecture 13 and change the flow. Like now login action will run first, then the driver. See, first the login action work, then the driver. So if you also see that both the action are reusable. I want my driver that it should not be called from another test. I will make it as a non-usable. Okay, usually drivers are non-usable. Okay, this is a code convention in the login action. It's a reusable. Other frameworks can also call this. Okay, so now what we are going to do, suppose this is a driver. All right, so we are going to call a login action from this driver and passing two parameters. First is the username, second is the password, and will fetch the output as result. All right, so in the login action, if you go inside this, there is a button called add. If you click on this, it says add input parameter. You just add input parameters. What are the parameters we are going to add? We are going to add a username. Then again I will add another input parameter called password, which is of string type. There is also different kind of type you can select from this password, like password type, number type, date type, boolean type, any type. So just for project sake we are using string. So in login action we added two parameters. First is the username, second is the password. You can also give the default value to this username password, but we are going to left it as a default. We are going to pass this value from driver. So the syntax is run action. What's the action name? Login action. And how many times I want to run? I want to run it one time, so it's one iteration, comma, input parameter 1. So Anurag password is password, and I am going to fetch this into another variable called my. So how this is going to be done? It will first go to this line and says that I am inside a driver. Then it going to call an action called login action, one iteration, pass Anurag is the username and password is password. So it's going to give Anurag and password to this login action, which already has two inputs, username and password. It will go these value into these parameters. So now I am going to make two variables, then login and password, and fetch these value from another action. Parameter username password is equal to parameter password, and I am going to add another parameter called output parameter, which give me the result. And write parameter result is equal to passed. And going to print whether my test has passed or not. Status is equal to my pair, and print status apply. Alright guys, so it will run the action, pass two parameters, username and password, to this login action, where there is a two parameter we have defined, username and password. It will give Anurag and password in this username and password, and then we are using this login and password to log into an application, and if it's the login is successful, we are returning pass into a result parameter. So when it will go back to driver, it will print pass. All right, so now we can run this thing. But it say you specified more parameter than there is number defined for an action. Okay, so we are going to stop this. It is error because of two commas. Okay. Now it's going to run fine. Okay, so it says passed inside driver, inside login, then passes. Alright guys, so what we have discussed, we have discussed how to set the properties of an action, like whether make an action are usable or not, controlling action flow, like first driver will call, then login action. If you want to reverse it, just drag and drop according to the flow, then passing input and output parameters in action, Then we are going to discuss about calling of action and loading action during runtime in next video. So thank you guys for watching this video.